Oh dear heavens. Okay, so apparently I have no storage left on my camera, and I exported or imported or whatever you want to call it a whole bunch of stuff to my laptop yesterday, but clearly I still have some more, cleaning up to do. Anyway, where I was going with that, I just rewatched it. Where I was going with that was his cell phone. I had left it with him the first night. The man was unconscious. I mean, barely conscious. And why, for some reason, I thought he needed his cell phone. I don't know why. It's the only way that we could stay connected, because I had to leave, and I left his cell phone at the bedside in Trauma Bay, of all friggin' places. So it didn't get stolen or anything, but I guess at some point it fell on the floor, and I mean, they're moving in there sometimes, and they were having a lot of trouble with him, so it was a rough night that first night, and a lot of things were being moved around, things pushed in, pushed out, pushed, whatever. Anyway, his cell phone, I found his cell phone sometime on day 2, and it was literally crushed. It wasn't just that the screen had been cracked, it was crushed. So I don't know, somebody wheeled something over top of it, and it's my own fault. It's completely my own fault. Certainly not the fault of any of the staff at the hospital, because they're a little more concerned with, keeping my husband alive than they are about running over a cell phone that should never have been left there in the first place. But I, for some reason, had it in the back of my head that, what if he wakes up in the middle of the night and he's scared, he doesn't know where he is, and he needs to call me. Who knows? In those moments, I should know better of all people, but, the stupid shit that you think of. So anyway, we moved him upstairs to the 3rd floor to medical, and that was a huge, huge yahoo, because they booted him out of Trauma Bay. Best news ever. We got up there, he didn't want B to leave, couldn't read. That was where I was going. So there was a little pamphlet over the bed table. It was welcome to blah, 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 blah. Anyways, it was just sitting there, and he reached out with his right hand and he picked it up. I don't know, just because it was sitting in front of him, and he was conscious enough now, that he was starting to talk a lot better still as the day went on, more and more. And he picked it up and he looked at it, and he got really upset, really emotional, because he said to me, "Oh my God, I can't read. I can't read." I don't think he said, "Oh my God." I don't think he was talking that good. He's just said, "I can't read. I can't read." And he started, getting really upset. And I said, "What do you mean, honey? What do you mean I can't read?" He said, "I can't read." And he'll tell you now himself, we were actually just talking about it the other day. Let's just use the word, I don't know, brown as an example, right? So he could recognize that it was a B, an R, an O, a W, and an N. But ask him to take those letters and tell you what word they make, the connection just wasn't there. So he was very upset. And so B and I sat with him for a little bit, and we kind of went over the pamphlet. And the longer he looked at it, he was kind of getting a few words here and there, guessing at most of them, but, kind of getting it a little bit. And, the ability to read did come back, but it still is, quite affected. He still has a lot of trouble with reading and comprehension. Spelling, he never could spell to save his life. I'm surprised the man can spell his own name. Math, he still got it. It's still there. The ability to do numbers in his head like that never left him. It's still there. Which is good, because don't ask me to add 2 and 2 together and then multiply by something and divide by, forget it. So we complement each other nicely. I spell things for him, and he figures out math for me. So we do that together, as we do everything else. So yeah, I mean, the move up to 3rd floor was just super duper 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 happy, and a super good sign. And from there, that was where we started to see the page turning. And again, he doesn't remember. I think this is where he might start retaining some memory now. He'll tell you now that he doesn't remember pretty much the first 72 hours, maybe even the first 4 days. But when he was being moved, I believe it was when he was being moved up to the 3rd floor on the evening of day 3, he thought it was still the same day. He thought it was still Sunday. He had no idea that this was now, Sunday, Monday, this was Tuesday evening, and that strokes had happened Sunday morning rather. And it might have even been, he said that when he first was moved downstairs, the following day, a bed came open in stroke rehab, which is where he spent the rest of his stay at the hospital. It might have been then that he said that he thought this was all the same day. He just had no, like, there's, even to this day, there's that block of at least 72 hours that is completely missing from his memory. He might have little bits, little flashes. He says he does remember seeing his brother on day one and hearing his voice, but not really. There's a lot of stuff he doesn't remember. And again, it's not due to any type of medication that they were giving him. He was on no pain meds. It was just the strokes itself. I mean, in 3 different areas all simultaneously, basically, and his brain just went blah, obviously. So, yeah, so I guess that's pretty much all there is to say right now about day 3. But day 3 was a big Yahoo, thank you, Jesus, sort of Holy Mary day. And yeah, so from there, we continued to see just nothing but improvement. And once he did get down onto 2nd floor on day 4, and got into rehab, was when we really started to see. And there's a lot of Facebook posts that was how I chose to, I was going to say that earlier and I got lost. Once he got onto stroke rehab, and this is kind of, he was in a private room, so it was kind of a little easier to do, Facebook updates and stuff, because it was just he and I, and there was, no one there to bother us or anything. But I chose to start doing what I called Elfie updates, right? Because there were so many people. There was my family, his family, obviously his family first, his family, my family, all of his friends from work, our mutual friends. There were so many people that everybody wanted updates. And again, I mean, bless everyone's heart. Everybody was, texting and calling and messaging, and oh, God, sorry, people, gotta change position again. Oh, okay. So I thought, you know what, and he was with it enough at that point that I was able to ask him, listen, are you okay if I do, like, once or even twice a day updates on your condition on Facebook? And in that way, unless somebody doesn't, he has one friend that just does not Facebook. So he would call, or his wife would call or whatever, and get updates that way. But it was our Elfie updates, and that was how we kind of chose to keep everyone informed on what was going on. And of course, all the Elfie updates are like just glowing with, holy shit, would you look at the improvement in this man? And he did literally improve hour by hour in front of my face. I've never seen anything like it, ever, in all my years of doing this for a living. That's why I say he has to have been given the TPA, and it didn't get charted. And as I say, in the medical world, if it didn't get charted, it did not happen. So, yeah, that's all we can think of. But anyway, so yeah, so that's it for our day 3. Sorry for the interruptions in all of this. It was phone calls and technical malfunctions and, all that kind of jazz. So I will let him have a look at what I've done so far. And then if everything's okay with him, then we will hit publish. Okay, so love you guys, and I will see you very shortly. In a moment, I'm coming back to do another video. Okay, love you. Mwah. Comment, people, comment, like, follow my Facebook blog, like my Facebook blog, make comments, like, that's why I'm doing this, like, guys, so comment and like and follow, and yeah, okay, and I love you. Bye.